The first time Alara saw Kieran, he was silhouetted against the full moon, standing barefoot on the cliffs of Durness, playing a haunting melody on a silver flute. The wind caught his dark curls, and the moonlight shimmered on his skin like he belonged more to the stars than to the earth. She was lost before she even knew his name. Alara was a wedding planner from London, practical and perfectionist, who never believed in the grand kind of love she helped others find. Her heart was stitched with tiny disappointments and stitched tighter with ambition. She had come to the Scottish Highlands to organize her most high-profile wedding yet, a royal ceremony between two European aristocrats, complete with carriages, falcons, and a 17th-century castle. But fate had other plans. Their paths crossed again when she wandered the cliffs the next day, looking for a good spot for a photo shoot. He was sitting on the grass, sketching the sea. "You're trespassing," he said without looking up. "So are you," she replied, but with a half-smile. "I live here." And indeed, he did. Kieran was the estranged son of the castle's caretaker, a painter, musician, and part-time recluse. He had left a promising career in Paris to return to his homeland and paint in peace, far from noise, far from love. But love, it seemed, had followed him. Their meetings were accidental at first, shared paths in the woods, silent moments by the fire during Highland storms, long talks under skies so full of stars they made Alara feel small and infinite at once. He teased her for her color-coded folders and minute-by-minute schedules. She mocked his wild, paint-smeared shirts and forgotten meals. But slowly, a strange tenderness bloomed. One night, after a week of rain and frustration over a missing shipment of imported orchids, Alara broke down beside the fireplace in the caretaker's quarters, where she'd come looking for a fuse box. Kieran was there, playing something soft on his flute. Without a word, he handed her a wool blanket, brewed tea with dried lavender, and let her cry. "You don't always have to hold the world together," he said gently. "It won't fall apart if you breathe." That was the first night she stayed. Days turned into weeks. The wedding approached. But the more Alara planned someone else's dream day, the more she found herself caught in one of her own. Her nights were now filled with stolen kisses beneath moonlight, lazy afternoons in Kieran's art studio, and conversations that made time meaningless. He painted her in secret, laughing, frowning, half asleep, staring out to sea. His heart spilled onto canvas long before he could say the words. But love, as always, must face reality. 3 days before the wedding, Kieran asked her to stay. "Not just for the summer," he said, eyes stormy with hope. "For forever. Marry me. Here." After their wedding. "Stay in the Highlands. Build something messy and beautiful with me." Alara's breath caught. She wanted to say yes. Every part of her ached to. But her life, her real life, was in London. Deadlines, clients, a future planned to the last second. "I can't," she whispered, tears threatening. "Not like this." She left that night, before dawn, without saying goodbye. The wedding went flawlessly. Applause, fireworks, champagne. But Alara felt like a ghost drifting through a fairy tale that no longer belonged to her. She boarded the train back to London the next morning, heart heavy and silent. Months passed. She threw herself into work. But she couldn't plan another wedding without thinking of moonlight and cliff edges, of music played only for her. Then, on her birthday in November, a package arrived at her flat. Inside was a canvas. It was her, standing on the cliffs, wind in her hair, eyes filled with a longing she hadn't yet recognized back then. No note, just coordinates. And beneath them, 2 words painted in silver. "Say yes." She didn't hesitate. Alara returned to Durness on a frost-kissed morning, heart-pounding, breath-forming clouds in the air. She followed the coordinates to a hidden cove below the cliffs. And there he stood, flute in hand, barefoot again, the sea raging behind him. "I never stopped loving you," he said. "I never stopped wishing I had stayed," she replied. So under that same full moon where their story began, surrounded by lanterns and wildflowers and only the waves as witnesses, they made their vows. Not for the cameras. Not for guests. Just for them. Under the stars, under love's ancient sky, Alara and Kieran promised forever, not perfect, not planned, but wild, real, and eternal.